fast cars, hot girls, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Is this 1988 or 2025? Learn all about Animalyze from Denmark on tonight's episode. Guys, how are you?
What's up, man?
Hey,
Yeah, we good, man.
Look at this. This is
here, man.
I know. Good to meet you guys, too. This is one busy screen. Look at this. We're all over the place. So I'm located in New Jersey, which is not far from New York City. So I think we're about 3,900 miles away between here and the Atlantic Ocean in Denmark. But let's do a proper band introduction. Tell me your names and the positions in the band.
Okay, sure. Well, I just start. My name is Clay Ronson. I'm the guitar player and the founder of Animalyze.
My name is Mike Lauren, and I play the bass.
My name is Ken Anthony. I'm the manager of the band.
My name is Chris Clark. I'm the drummer and co-founder of the band.
My name is Vicky Mart, and I'm the singer.
The front guy.
Nice to meet you guys. Nice to meet you guys. And of course, some great musicians and bands have come out of Denmark, the music scene. I mean, Lars Ulrich of Metallica fame, of course, Merciful Fate, and King Diamond. And on the newer end of things, Volbeat, of course. And then you have Mike Tramp from White Lion, just to name a few. So we also want to introduce Ken Anthony, your manager. So Ken, you're sort of an iconic name in the Danish rock scene, but tell us a little bit about your back history and some of the bands you've managed over the years.
Oh my God, yeah, I've been managing Pretty Maids back in the 80s. I've been working with Merciful Fate, been managing Merciful Fate, King Diamond for some years as well. I've been a contributor for some magazines, Metal Forces magazines back in the 80s as well. Working for a Danish magazine. And now I'm working with these guys here, Animalyze.
So how did you decide to get involved with Animalyze? Like, what about them inspired you to come work with them and manage them?
Two of the guys came to me at a show with a band called Bloody Dice, and they brought me a song. And they asked me, "Would you like to hear our music? We are kind of a glam band." I said, "Okay, I just want to check it out." I heard two songs, and they blew me away. I thought, what the fuck? These guys are so young and they play this kind of music. So I asked them to get some more songs, and I received, I think, 3 more songs, and then I was just blown away. And I thought, I'm going to work with these guys.
That's excellent. So I got to say, for the band members, just how old are you guys? Are you in your 20s? Like, what ages ranges are you guys?
We're trying to stay young.
They all act.
Well, I'm in the middle. I'm 20. I'm 25 in 10 days, and Mike Lauren, our bassist. Well, how old are you, Mike?
I'm the youngest guy in the band. I'm 22.
No, you're 16.
I'm 12.
Look, 16.
So,
Yeah, and Clay, what are you, 28 now? I'm 26, and then, there's the youngest guy in the band over there, Ken, right?
Yeah, Mr. Ken Anthony. What is
69.
Oh.
Well, that should tell you something. I mean, you guys are all in your 20s. Yes, there's a couple of age years difference, but this just tells me a lot about, the kind of music that you decided to pursue for a career. But before we get into that, maybe talk a little bit about the upbringing in music in your household. Like, what kinds of music was played in your house? Maybe what kind of things did your brothers or your father or your mother, what kind of things did you listen to growing up?
Well, at the very beginning of I Could Crawl, I think my dad, he would play all his favorite music, which would be everything from Mötley Crüe, Iron Maiden to Kiss, all the great fucking bands back in the day. And actually, when we met Ken, I told a story back home to my dad that I met this guy at this venue, and I was kind of funky, trying to stay rock star attitude when I talked to Ken. And my dad, he was like, well, he knew Ken back in the day. He went to his record stores and bought all the music that I've been listening to when I was a child. So actually, we have a connection that we didn't know about.
Yeah, I mean, my upbringing, it was, very different, kind of fun. As you can see back on my wall back here, I've got a lot of, I came out of, a funky area, Tower of Power, Chicago, all that kind of stuff. Grew up on Toto. That's all my dad playing that for me. Then as I, became a teenager, I found, Zeppelin and meeting Clay. He introduced me to this whole, I was apparently missing out on the whole 80s rock scene. So introduced me to Mötley and Def Leppard and whatever. That just grew on me.
Okay. How about the singer, Vicky? How about you? What kind of things what are some of your favorite vocalists that you grew up on?
Oh, well, my dad used to play drums, so I actually wanted to be a drummer, but living in an apartment as a young guy, there wasn't really room for playing the drums. Sadly, too many neighbors. The first bands I was really listening to was Guns N' Roses, also Anvil. Like, I did a lot of heavy metal from the beginning, but then I when I hit the teenage years, always Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin is my main, and I like a bit of, Pink Floyd. I'm a bit more like, what you call. It grew on me the 70s, but of course always the 80s.
So what, as a whole, as you guys got together and formed the band, maybe tell me a little bit about how and why you took an interest in the Sunset Strip style 80s sound. Obviously, from what you just described, you guys learned this stuff as kids. Your fathers and your friends were playing this. But what made you want to pursue this style of music?
Well, it's kind of, the 80s were kind of like this party, we'll go out and have fun decade. And a lot of new music grew in the 80s, a lot of new party instruments. You had a lot of new types. You could do reverbs and delays. You had samples and stuff. So it was just an era of very big variations of how you would create music and how you would mix it and stuff like that. And I think the kind of main thing of the 80s was just like to have fun and play heavy riffs and, just live by the fucking party, right?
Yeah, and the attitude about it. I think the vibe of the 80s just speaks to all of us in a certain way that no other decade of music does.
Right. Yeah. Talking about me coming from some other kinds of genres of music, I think it wasn't until I tried playing this kind of stuff that I really realized that there's no other genre that really brings the energy to the stage like this. This things that we do. It's really just the party atmosphere. It's the rock and roll. It's the to step above, and beyond the stage, and just be one with the audience and the people.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, it's especially I like the more slow type 80s, 70s music. But if I want to play something, if I want to stand on the stage and do something, it's definitely the 80s rock because it's just more fun. It's more loose and. The music is serious, but the energy is something else.
Now,
and it's so much more about the music also, right?
Yeah, but you guys are, I don't know how you guys formed, but I want to hear about that too, because I don't know if you were friends, first, and then you decided to put this band together, but you all have similar musical tastes. Maybe, Chris, you have a slightly different one, but how did you find each other, right? How did you find each other? And how did you come together? And then maybe what's the story about how you decided to pick the name Animalyze?
Go ahead. Tell the story how you met.
Okay. Just waiting for someone to start. Clay and I, we were, maybe 18, 19 years old. We met back in 2017. and we were both out of, we tried a little bit different bands, playing some cover music, but it just, it wasn't really doing it. We wanted to, we wasn't sure at the time what we wanted to do, but, we were sure we wanted to do something more, something else. So we both at the same time pursued music school. It was like a high school where you live and you get to teach with, you got teachers, you got other students, like 100 people all interested in, just music, right? And you got, it's from bassists to guitarists to singers to people who want to book and people who want to do like studio stuff. So it's like a big thing. And out of all those people, I met one guy I could, I liked. Yeah, he was cool. He's still, he's falling off a little bit. Nah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then, as we met, it was just, we were just one. I mean, we were clear about what we wanted to do and where we wanted to go, and as the years went by, we were just kind of shaping in this, the vision of what we wanted to do and what we wanted the band to be, precising this vision of the band that eventually, became Animalyze. Do you want to add on to the story, Clay?
Yeah, I think that the vision has always been clear. We always wanted to put together a band that was larger than life and like something that you wouldn't see on the stages anymore, because a lot of the things we saw out on the stages were more musical for us than not that show factor and that wow effect. We wanted to build that. And as Chris said, of 100 people, there was only one fucking guy I met there who could play the drums like I've never heard before. And from the first jam session, we were just, love at first sight. So with that in mind, we put out an ad online, and there was only one who called that ad, and that was Vicky. And he sent a recording in of him singing a cover song from Zeppelin, and we were like, this guy, he fucking blows our mind. He's like, his voice is so fucking crazy. We need to meet this guy. And then we met with him and jammed some songs, and pretty quick we wrote songs like Wild for Free and Hot But Dangerous, I think was the early days of the band. And then we actually found a bass player and played some shows, but we were really not at the place where we wanted to be. So we found Mike, and then we joined.
I used to play guitar actually in another band, and there was this great rock club in Copenhagen called High Voltage, where my old band, was warming up for a band that Clay was stand-in guitarist for. Yeah. And that's the way we met on stage, basically. Because I went up to him and I was like, "You're the guy from Animalyze, right?"
And I was like, "You know Animalyze? Awesome."
And then a year or something went by, and I got an email from Chris Clark asking me if I wanted to play bass in Animalyze. So it was just meant to be.
And this guy, he was like, we had to sell it because he was doing his own stuff in his own band. He was a guitar player, right? So we were like, okay, we need to bring him into the biggest studio we know and where we record our fucking music, just to show off what we had in mind and tell him about, we got tour plans for you. We're going to do international stuff like that.
And actually, I said no the first time.
Okay.
I said no, and then a week or something went by, and they called me into another meeting, and Chris was like, "Oh, what if you're just like part-time?"
We gotta make this work.
So I was like, "Sure, let me play a couple of shows with you or something," and I slowly they absorbed me. I got more and more invested and became more and more part of the band and part of the fucking family. So I'm really glad that they put me to it.
Actually, if you go to the end of the album booklet, there's a special thanks to Mikkel's old band where it says thanks for breaking up.
Well, there you go. So how many years do you guys go back? Like, when did you all start putting this together? And then, Ken, I know I asked you this before, but at what point after these guys were together did you learn about them? How did you hear about them? And, when did you all come together and decide to make, let's say, this great album?
Yeah, I was just about to add on to that because, when we first met Vicky, I think that was maybe 2021.
21, yeah.
Yeah. And then when Mike came was, last year, right? So we formed officially, by Animalyze in 2022. But as I said, Clay and I, we met in 2017. So there's a lot of years where we were really struggling. We couldn't really find any singers. I mean, we had tryouts, but we couldn't find anyone that had the range or the power. Same with bassists. It's just not. It's not there, man. We had a lot of years just struggling, and doubting, is the bar too high? Is this vision? Is it gonna happen? Can it happen? Doing this stuff in 2025, right? Now it is. But
yeah,
it was tough.
I think, we formed in 2022, and we met Ken last year.
Yeah.
2024, at a concert at a release concert is a lead singer that Chris and we've been played with in those years from 2017 to 2022. We played with a lead singer in a cover band called Dagfinn, who is the lead singer of the other band that Ken managed, Bloody Dice. And we went to this release concert, and Chris and I were talking to the singer that we know, and he was like, well, you guys, you need to check out our manager. You would definitely sync up with that guy because he's all about that fucking 80s, And then, the rest, we went over to Ken, fully rock star attitude, hey, who the fuck are you? And what you've been doing past years? And Ken was like, well, I've been managing Metallica early days and Pretty Maids and King Diamond. And I was like, holy fuck, who the fuck are you?
Clay and I just shit our pants.
I love it. That's a great story. Hey, you have to have the rock and roll attitude, right? That may have been the selling point, right? You went in there with swagger. You sold them with your attitude. It's not a matter of Ken saying, who the fuck are you? It's you saying to Ken, who the fuck are you? Right?
Yeah. I just looked at it and thought, okay, guys, take it easy. Let me hear your music. Can you play or can you not play? But I was blown away, as I told you.
It doesn't matter. Look at us.
We got the tattoos and stuff, man.
Long hair. What your daddy said.
Well, my dad.
Look at me out bowling, looking like a bowler.
I told the story to my dad that I met Ken Anthony and the way I introduced myself to him. And my dad, he was like, what the fuck did you do that, you piece of shit? I didn't raise you to be that kind of a fucking animal. Have respect of the old gods.
Let me ask you guys a question about the music scene, let's say in Denmark or, that area, Scandinavian area of the world, because in the U.S., I have to be honest, a band like you, there's not many new bands that carry on that traditional style of the 80s. There's some of them that have come up, but it's a very different market over here. The America follows only the current trends. Like your fellow Danish mates, Volbeat, they're a huge band in America. They're enormously popular. They're going to be doing a headlining tour coming up in a couple of months. And we just found out today that we're going to be interviewing the drummer for the show coming up soon. So we have an interview with him, John Larson, I think his name is. But how does the 80s style of music received over in Denmark? Is it popular? Do you get kids?
I mean, it's kind of the same reaction all over the world. It seems like, apparently, that the scene really isn't there anymore because it's been there. People, they want to evolve the music. So I mean, a lot of modern rock is going on here, and there's not when we formed it, not a scene like there wasn't the band that we wanted to do. We weren't there to experience the 80s, but we seeing all the tapes, seeing all the videos, hearing the music is like, you can't let this shit die. You gotta keep it alive.
It feels like there's a place for it, and people are are like missing this kind of music that we're doing because no other bands our age is doing it.
It is kind of an underground scene over here in Europe, the glam scene, the hard rock scene. We got bands from Sweden, Norway, which are very, very good, you know, and Germany, some bands in Germany. But it's not as big as it used to be, of course not.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's
I think it's going to be back. You still have it in America. You got Pretty Boy Floyd back on the road. The Kicking Valentina is more sleazy, but it's that kind of stuff as well. So it's growing, I think. I think it's coming back. Definitely.
Yeah, I think there's the people who were in the 80s, and they find we have a lot of people who think it's awesome to have a band like that style coming back, so they can re-experience some of the stuff. But all the people we play, or which has never really experienced it or listened to it or anything, I mean, the feedback we're getting is quite nice. I mean, it seems like there's a place for it for the people who haven't really dug into it yet.
Yeah, but not just old people that were back there. There's also, I mean, we've got a tons of feedback from young people that, you know.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. The people who wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly. Their favorite bands, they aren't playing anymore. So who can they go to see? I mean,
right.
See Animalyze.
I think of like when you watch your King of the Night video, right? Watch that a few times, and you have, number one, you did a great job on that video. I love the still pictures coming in and out and the band poses, but there's a lot of live footage, and you see that there's a lot of people at these shows, and so maybe comment on as we get into the songs, like specifically around that song, like where were those performances from? I mean, they must have been well received.
We did a warm-up gig some months ago for Pretty Maids, which blew everybody's mind. You know, we got crazy feedback from it. People were standing in line at the merchandise stand, wanting pictures from us, autographs, pre-ordering our CDs and vinyls and stuff like that. It just blew our mind that they actually wanted this so much. So we have the band that were actually they wanted to hear. And then some of the pictures from that video specifically, you can see there's a gig we did at a biker club. And that's, it's a biker club that invites people, has invitations, and people come out from the city. And I think there were attendance, maybe 100, 200 people, and they were just like, the fuck are those guys? They're playing at a fucking biker club? Look at they got a fucking stage, they got lights, they got smoke, they got like drum solos and everything. We hit up a big bonfire and people were scared, like, are they gonna burn it down to the ground or what the fuck's going on? And we brought up a motorcycle and sitting on that one and playing solos, fucking amazing. So we play a lot of different types of gigs, and we take what we can here at the beginning, but it's definitely looking ahead. Bigger shows in the future, and some new announcements will come up on our website very soon.
Okay, and I even noticed there was a couple of beautiful blonde girls that kept popping up at the end of that video, or one of the videos. So are those your groupies or maybe your girlfriends?
No, that was groupies.
That's kind of the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
One-time girlfriends.
Girlfriends.
We'll take them with us.
That's awesome. Hey, gotta do what you need, the full story, man. But guys, get in.
But let me add on to that.
That's just when you go on the stage and you do a show like the 80s, like we do. I think the girls want to get backstage.
But definitely, girls nowadays, they've never experienced a rock scene like that. So we had a lot of friends, from they listen to nowadays modern music. Let's call that, sadly. When they hear heavy metal or rock music, they're thinking like, you step down into like a scene of death and you're just doomed. And then, they come out and see us and they experience like, they were really like, that's cool. What's going on down here? Just a whole concert vibe and the people rocking and, our music isn't that, that hard. So people that hasn't been seeing stuff like that before, it also, a surprise for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, sounds like you guys are off to a good start. So maybe we'll get a little bit into the album itself, right? Maybe talking about the songwriting process and making this full album. I mean, where did the songs come from? Was it sort of collaborative jam sessions, or was it more of a structured writing?
Yeah, it's like a mixture of all those things. Normally, one of us would come in with a riff. Typically, Chris and I would have been jamming some riffs and some ideas, and then come into the studio and present a template for a song. And then Mike, he would change some of it, add on to it, and Vicky would also come in and do add-ons and changes to it. But the lyric creation, the songwriting for the lyrics, we all participate in that one because it's very important that we can, work with words that pleases us all. But basically, yeah, it just starts from a jam session or an idea of a riff or something like that. Sometimes Chris, he can be a pain in the ass for me because I come in with a riff that I think kicks ass, and he's like, "Nah, you can do better than that." I'm like, "Fuck you, man! No, I can't." Yeah, you can do better than that, and it's about pushing us to the limits, and it's good and bad in the studio. We definitely had some bad times in there, but we pushed ourselves to the limits, and I think we got out with a pretty good product in the end.
Yeah, and we really push each other to achieve the best that we can do each. I remember doing my bass parts 1,000 times, recording a lot of those songs, because we really want to make it perfect for the audience, as perfect as it gets, right? And a lot of the songs were written in the studio. As Clay told, by ideas from around the place that we collected and worked on together.
Right, but primarily, I think of course, Clay, he plays the guitar, has a lot of theory on his back. The same with Mike being the bassist, but also guitars. He has a lot of to add as well. I'm just a drummer. No, but I just want to point out the rarity of the connection that Clay and we have, especially when writing songs, because
no, you ain't, man. No, ain't.
My guitar, I'm very limited on what I can do, so I try to speak through Clay, and for Clay to be able to understand my ideas, what I have in my head, where I want to go with this. He's, we don't talk much. We just, it's the musicians' communications going on here, and he just, he locks onto it and he's right on it. Very special connection going on there.
It's quite magical to watch Chris and Clay communicate in the studio, because you can tell that they've known each other for so many years. There is this special language that they've got.
It's also good to translate a drummer's language. It's you try to okay, you don't want to play. How the fuck I'm gonna translate that, right? But yeah, I think the connection is there as well. And some of the songs actually, I had the riffs for Hot But Dangerous. I wrote that years ago, and then we spent months finishing Beauty as a Killer. But songs like Hunter of the Night, we actually worked on another song that didn't make it on the album called The Love Machine, and we were so much struggling with the pre-chorus that I was like, fuck that shit, let's just write a new song. And then we wrote Hunter of the Night on what, 2 days maybe.
That's
3 days,
yeah.
Talk about the singles a little bit, right? King of the Night and Wild for Free, both very cool videos, but both monster tracks. I love them both. They're just high energy. They're very catchy melodic songs. They kind of have a little bit of everything that we love about that 80s style music, and they're very much if radio still existed and they were playing songs on the radio, you'd hear these songs on the radio. So maybe comment a little bit about those two songs, your singles.
Yeah, well, yeah, thank you. I mean, sometimes it's, it's very weird writing music, and, sometimes the motivation is, it's not there, the inspiration is not there, and sometimes it is. So you're not sure what, you know, what riff might come up that day, what music, you know, what turn will make it that day. Point is that some other times, you know, we ask ourselves, like, what do we really want for the audience here? Do we want, you know, like a slow ballad? Do we want something high energy party wise? And with those two songs, I remember that it was like, we need something with a bit of, like, you know, the drums for Wild for Free. It needs to be a little up tempo, needs to be a little shuffly. We need to do a little, you know, the picky guitar just running through the whole thing. Same with Kings of the Night. It was just, you know, we need to have this energy of the synthesizer to just carry it throughout the whole songs. So that was, you know, we went in the studio and it was just like, for those two songs especially, we were just like, we wanted to make party songs. We wanted to make people dance. We wanted to make people especially sing along. That's always one of the things that we focus on the first when writing, is make, you know, can we hear a whole arena or a whole stadium sing this song with us? The main chorus, that's the you know, the hook line, right?
And that's actually how we write the hook lines. We don't stand doing it theory-wise or very great played or anything. We stand in the booth like, how can we listen to this if the stadium was singing it Wild for Free? Yeah, that sounds like a fucking banger. Kings of the Night. Yeah, that sounds like a banger. And then we write the songs. We actually start with the choruses and the hook lines, as Chris is pointing out, because that's the thing that people are going to remember. And that's the reason why we chose those two as singles, because it's 3 words, 4 words. It's such easy phrase to remember, and it's the only thing that we sing in the chorus. So it's like, yeah, that's gonna be a hit. Probably.
And that's why I think what we've gotten the most feedback on is like that people can hear one song and it'd be stuck in their head for like the whole day or the whole week. And that's the same for all 10 songs on the album. Not my word, but from, you know, fans out there.
You think of X Medication and Hot for Dangerous. I'm looking at my notes to talk to you about these, Bat. But again, the things that stick in those two songs are the chants. Hot, hot, hot. Hey, 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 right? Those are the things that come back to you, right? It's those fast-paced rockers, the first song being groovy and sleazy, but you guys have a little bit of everything, but the chants are what is memorable in those songs.
Yeah, man.
There's like I think we have we did on most songs, we did like where we just went to the booth, played what we had of drums and guitar for the chorus, and we just put it on loop, and then just everybody was in the booth taking a turn, just singing something and trying first to find a rhythm, and then a good rhythm, and then the words.
Yeah.
I mean,
whatever
the amount of stuff on the computer there with just bullshit and bad choruses, but I mean, it took some time, but that's you know, everything just took 100 tries, I think, with the album. That's why we ended up with the result.
Yeah, then we really, you know, also on that, we really stood by, you know, less is more. It needed to be easy for people to understand and, you know, to sing along. So if you start making things too difficult, people will, I think eventually, you know, step off, don't understand it. And this, you know, you don't need to think about it. You need to be there in concert and understand what's going on. You don't need to know us beforehand or know the songs. You need to, you know, get picked up right away. So really, less is more is what we, you know, we always went by. Yeah.
So I would say a couple of other my favorite tracks are Pleasure and Pain, because that one has a different rhythm to it, a little groovy, got a little main riff and drums kind of playing off each other. The chorus is unique. And then Dr. Chemical, I think that one's cool too. It's very catchy, but I'm curious about those two songs. Like, what is Dr. Chemical all about? And talk a little bit about Pleasure and Pain in that different kind of musical style.
Well, we actually get that a lot about Dr. Chemical because it has a bigger meaning of it. Of course, as all songs have, it has an interpretation. But I think if you just look at the lyrics, the first thing people will think is, oh, it's about drugs. It's about this drug dealer who's selling drugs and stuff. But that's not the point of the song. Like, how we see it is like and that's the thing about Animalyze, you know, bring in your true animal and escape from the system, from the every 9 to 5 day, and just be free and have fun and party. And that's kind of the song of Dr. Chemical. There's this guy who comes here and introduces you to this new world, which is basically the world that we live in, but that we are biased from because of all of this 9 to 5 and stuff like that. So that's just a song to get free from every day's work. But of course, people would think about it like drugs. Yeah. And I think the main thing for the lyrics, I just watched the Matrix movies, and I was inspired by Morpheus, who comes and gives the pills.
Red pill or blue pill, right?
So.
It's about setting your mind free and like stepping out of this box, this everyday box with just mindless work, mindless 9 to 5, and like being true to yourself.
Then being on the other side, and then kind of how that feels. It feels good. We need to get you over on the other side, right?
And I remember Pleasure and Pain. I remember that Chris, he's actually the one who wrote the riff for that song, which is weird because he's just a drummer, as you just said, right? Well, he's actually a pretty good guitar player as well. So, and he sent that riff, and I was like, I'm a bit more into heavy metal as well. I think I listen to a lot of everything from hard rock to death metal. So I was like, okay, that is some badass shit. And I remember Vicky was also, okay, that is some badass shit. Yeah, let's write some more heavy stuff. And kind of one of the only songs that got that really heavy vibe to it. Of course, also Dr. Chemical a little bit. But yeah, so it's a special song on the album, I think.
Yeah, I think Pleasure and Pain was also one of the hardest songs to write. Yeah. We went through a lot of lyrics and a lot of ideas. The original name for the song was Run for Your Life. Thank God that changed.
I think we changed that maybe like 2 weeks before printing. So on the original contract we did with Steelheart, it actually says "Run for Your Life" on there.
That was a lot of trial and error to get that right and to get the message across that we wanted.
Yeah, but it's funny you said that. Yeah, Lance was
doing the debut album, and during the debut album you have all of your life, all the riffs you wrote throughout your teens and stuff to put in the debut album. But it's about finding a sound that you can somehow maintain throughout all of the album. So I think that's why we had a lot of difficulties writing Pleasure and Pain, because it went out of the edge of what we normally write. Also, Beauty is a Killer, which is kind of more like 70 vibes, which also a bit of a struggle of writing. I think we rewrote it thousands of times, man.
Yeah. You get into this groove when you're writing Wild for Free and Hot but Dangerous and stuff, and then when you step out of the groove like Pleasure and Pain or Beauty is a Killer, that's where you kind of get stuck and have to push yourself even more to get a good result.
Right.
Yeah, I think you guys did a good job. I mean, there's 10 songs released on the album. It flows very nicely. They're all great tracks. The album's out now, but let's talk a little bit about your live shows. Like, how much are you going to get out there and perform? And maybe of the shows you've done so far, was there any one or two particular gigs that you say are very memorable or super special to you guys so far?
The Pretty Maids show was so good.
The Pretty Maids gig was amazing. And, that's the first time I really felt we got this, insane feedback from the audience, where people that had never heard the song sang along to the choruses and stuff. That was cool.
That was the first time we really got to present, the whole album, because it's never been played before, and we played it before its release. But we of course had the 2 singles out. And people, from the 2 singles that came to the show, actually, we had people showing up in our shirts, and they knew the lyrics, and they came there for us also. And especially warming up for Pretty Maids, I remember Clay saying that he used to watch Pretty Maids when he was little, standing front row catching guitar picks and whatever, drumsticks. And all of a sudden you're standing there in the, backstage, and here comes, Ronnie Atkins or whatever, Pretty Maids walking by that you grew up on. It's weird. It's a cool feeling. seems like you're going somewhere and doing something right, at least.
What about touring shows coming up? Do you have any shows booked for the summer or into the fall?
Yeah, we are right now. We are actually having a crazy rehearsal plan. We are practicing 4 days a week. We got some upcoming studio work that we can't talk much about because it's it's going to be an announcement for later on. We're going to hit that studio in August, and then we will play some festivals in the beginning of August in Denmark. And then we're working on some shows for the rest of the year. A lot of them are booked, but we're definitely going to play some shows in the end of November. We got quite some shows in Denmark as well, and in December. And then next year, we are definitely going to hit, the rest of the world. I don't know if we can...
that's can we say anything? We can talk about it.
Well,
we can't say when and where, but
we have to get clearance from our manager.
Am I allowed to say this? No, but
you can say.
But we are, as you can see on our social media pages, we are signed with a management bureau over in UK. Will
Rock Fiend.
Yeah, Rock Fiend will do all the shows over there, and they're working right now on some shows in all of UK, and we're definitely gonna play on a festival over there called
Call of the Wild.
Call of the Wild, yeah. It's going to be in May, June next year. And then, of course, we will be working on shows rest of the world. It's not a secret that we also made a Japanese style of the CD throughout a Japanese label and for the Japanese audience. So definitely going to be in contact with them as well and work our way through from the north to the east. And hopefully we're also going to see you one day.
Yeah.
Well, there's opportunities to play in the U.S. You know, every May they have a big festival in Baltimore, Maryland, on the East Coast called M3. And it's usually a 2 or 3 day festival where it's all the 80s bands from that era that come on. And that would be a perfect fit for you guys. You should look it up and see if you can get over here to perform on that. And, of course, the Monsters of Rock cruises that go out of Florida every year in January, that's another big one. A lot of European bands come onto those.
All right.
So you shall see. We shall see. Well, guys, I wish you the best of luck with the promotion of this album. So for more information on Animalyze, head over to animalyze.dk for all of their information and links to their socials. So, guys, this has been a good time getting to know you guys as people, as musicians, and all that kind of stuff. But we want to end this with a little trivia session. So I'm going to put you guys on the spot. And I'm going to come up with some trivia questions to see how knowledgeable are you on your 80s rock. All right? So considering that your band name Animalyze is also the name of a very popular Kiss album from 1984, where they took the makeup off. The hit single on that album was Heaven's on Fire. What guitarist played on the album, and what different guitarist played on the tour?
Okay, I think I know that one. The guy playing on the album should be Mark St. John, and the one playing on the tour would be Bruce Kulick.
Bruce Kulick, yeah.
You got it. You got it. Good. All right, that's it. 1 for 1. All right, got 2 more. All right. So I think this should be an easy one. So we talked about Mike Tramp of White Lion. So, of course, Mike Tramp is from Denmark. But the rest of the White Lion guys, Vito Bratta, Greg D'Angelo, and James Lomenzo, they were all from another country and city. What location is that?
And Anthony?
Ken, he definitely knows that. Always thinking.
Grace, you got to answer this one.
City.
Did you say this was going to be an easy one?
I'll give you a hint. Let's see. Ken should know this. They were popularized at a very popular rock club called L'Amour.
That's New York.
That's it. They're from Brooklyn and Staten Island and New York, the rest of the band.
I was just about to say that.
Oh, you said White Lion? Yeah, okay.
All right, so you got that one too. Now, here's your last question. This one's for Ken. So considering that Ken is very good friends and has a lot of history, was Lars Ulrich. Ken, what was Lars's favorite rock band growing up as a kid? Classic rock band.
He got many. He loved Diamond Head. Are you thinking about Diamond Head? I think so. The English band.
That's not the one, but I know they were a big influence on Metallica.
Yeah.
Try again. Give it another shot.
They're also a British band.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, Diamond Head's an excellent answer because, of course, they covered a lot of their songs and they played it. But the real answer is Deep Purple. I think that's Lars's favorite band as a kid growing up.
Great band too. Yeah, that's a good choice.
Anyway, so this was good, guys. You got a little trivia in there. I really enjoyed getting to know you guys, and I wish you the best of luck with your promotion. And let's keep in touch and have you guys back on again. So, guys, we appreciate it. So today for my guests, Animalyze and Ken Anthony, I'm Metal Walt, and this is Metal Mayhem ROC.
Metal for life.
Thank you for listening to Metal Mayhem ROC. Check out our website at metalmayhemroc.com for information on podcasts, archives, links to all our live radio shows, and all sorts of info. Please like, follow, and share with everyone, even your non-metal friends. And always remember to keep it heavy.